Thank you so much. I seem to have prepared something different from the introduction. I'm going to present a paper on the food stuff that are available on market stalls and restaurants in the rural urban centers in Uganda. And I'm taking a case of Kagadi town. Yeah, this is a paper that I wrote some time back, and it was published. In my introduction, I noted that the population, urban population, is on the rise everywhere in the world. We are now talking about an urbanization rate of about 5.1% and expecting about 60 million people to be living in urban centers in the next coming 10 years. And the demand of food is on the rise, and yet the supply of food keeps fluctuating. So these fluctuations most of the times arise from poor food supply chains. And the poor food supply chains, to some extent, are linked to inadequate market information. So there's therefore a need to streamline market information to be able to organize the food supply chains to feed the growing population, both in the rural, but most important, the urban sector. So the general objective of my study was to generate market information by assessing the market potential of food items in a rural town council called Kagadi Town Council, Kagadi District, Western Uganda. These are the questions that I was looking at: the food items which are available in the town council, the quantities, the location of the suppliers, the challenges the challenges faced by the food traders, the factors that are responsible for each challenge identified, and maybe possible solutions. So we went out with my team and did a survey, like I said, in Western Uganda, in a rural urban council, which is dominated by subsistence farmers who are doing maize, beans, cassava, banana, maize, beans, cassava, yes, and banana, yeah. So they also do fresh foods and groceries, which are sold mainly in the daily market. So this is the location of the study area. And the respondents, we have about 271 food traders, according to records I obtained from the Kagadi Town Council local government authorities. And these are butcherers of beef, those doing cattle and goats, butcherers of pork, street vendors who are doing cooked food, roasted chicken, beef, goat and fish, hotels and restaurants, groceries, food dealers in the daily market who are doing both dry and fresh foods and also fish. And this brings it to 271. So from that, using the Krijik and Morgan table, we selected 179. So as our sample size, we put this in a formula, sample size determination formula, and we're able to come up with that sample size. Yeah, so we used questionnaires, we used key informant interviews. So the key informants were 11, and these were mainly chairpersons of the food traders. These were authorities from the local government, from the town council, local government, managers of restaurants, and also prominent food traders. So we did like I said, questionnaires, and those were 179. And briefly, what we found out here, here we have a table, a very big table, showing the foods which are available yeah, on the market in our small town here called Kagadi. So you have the item, here we have the number of traders we sampled who are doing that food, who are selling that food. Then they also told us the quantities they sell per day in terms of bundles, in terms of kilograms, heads, basins, sacks. These are the local measurements our people use here. And then they also told us how many of each of those things are sold per day, per trader. Yeah, so we went ahead and established how many traders are doing each item, and realized most of the traders are in fish, in beans, in onions, in cabbage. But when it comes to selling goat meat, when it comes to selling pineapples, yellow banana, the number of traders are really very few. And this table is showing the foods which are very scarce here in our rural urban setup. And there are quite a number of reasons why these foods are scarce, and yet there are potential customers who may want to consume these foods. So when you look at a product like cow ghee, this is a semi-liquid material which is made from milk, fermented milk. And why this product is very scarce, the cows are very minimal here, so you can hardly find milk because the raw material for this ghee is milk. Then the banana, also the beans, but many of these people say, we are not interested because maybe they are hard to find, or when we buy them, the profits are less. When we buy them, maybe the supplies are far and hard to find. And maybe because, you can't just find them anywhere. So these are some of the reasons they give for not engaging in those products, which consumers are saying we can hardly find. Then these are the different places from which the food items are bought. But one and most important thing I want to note here, these are places several kilometers away from Kagadi, and food is brought in here through trucks. For example, we get eggs from the city, from Kampala. We get most of the Irish potato from Fort Potro, most of the banana from near the Congo border. So we see that the areas which are contributing a lot in terms of bringing in food here, we have a city called Fort Potro in Kabarole, which is very prominent. And I think it's because of their climate. Yeah, in Fort Potro city, rainfall is received nearly throughout the whole year. This is a place close to the Rwenzori Mountains. The temperatures are okay, the soils are good, rainfall is plentiful and throughout the whole year. So they grow a lot of food, and they send much of it to us here in Kagadi. Now, the challenges, as I plan to end, food traders are facing a number of challenges. For example, when it comes to traders who are handling livestock products, they're facing challenges of maybe sometimes the demand for their meat is low, they cut the meat and people are not coming through to buy. When they move out to buy the animals, the farmers overprice or they overcharge the animals. Then the slaughter facilities are also not good enough. Maybe some animals running away from them. Just to mention but a few, and these are the root causes. They also went ahead and suggested some solutions, like reducing taxes, on their business by the government and other things. Then we have challenges which are faced by the food crops here, like some crops being seasonally available, high taxes from the local government, high capital investment, and several other challenges that these crop food traders are facing. So I want to conclude by saying that there is potential for food market here in Kagadi. Because some of the food items that are demanded are actually not available on the market. The local population, however, now this being a rural setup, has the potential to produce these foods, but I think they are not well supported because of the many challenges. And Kagadi Town Council is over depending on food from outside. Like we saw, more than 90% of food is coming from it's coming from outside the borders of the town council. And this is a very big threat to our food sovereignty here. So food traders and food producers are going through a number of challenges, and they need a lot of support from development partners to be able to carry on with the food business to sustain the livelihoods of people here. I thank you.